So the Spark Life Binder is actually a binder, and it's a binder that you put together yourself. So this is how I liked to put mine together. You get to decide what type of binder you like and what type of dividers. You get to make it your own, customize it to you. But it's a download that will help you put together your own emergency folder and your own binder with all of your most important information for your whole life. So the emergency folder is that quick grab for medical and quick evacuation information. The Spark Life Binder has everything from, who your utility companies are and where your bank accounts are at, what important things are in your home, what other storage areas you might have, everything. So it's got your basic information, dependence information, medical, end of life, finance, insurance, assets, important passwords and digital life, everything that's important you can track in here. You can keep all the information in here. You can keep copies of some of those papers in here. And this way you and your loved ones all know exactly where to find any important information that you need, all in one place. So the Spark Life Binder is a digital download, and it is all of the worksheets basically that you can fill in and use to create your own binder of all of the most important information. It has the emergency folder and the binder. Pamela asked, where does somebody keep that binder for security? I have a whole video that when you grab the binder that I tell you exactly how to keep it secure as well, because that is an important thing. So there's an important papers workshop where I go through, and that's a free workshop that will also I'll offer in September. But I walk through, what's in an important papers binder if you wanted to build your own from scratch, how to keep it safe. So check out the important papers workshop in September when that opens up, because that's a huge chunk of, I tell you how to keep something like this safe, because you don't want that in the wrong hands. Sheila says, I need the emergency folder, would love to get the Spark Life Binder. Awesome. Yeah, check out in September. This is opening up again. So twice a year, I open up the ability to grab the Spark Life Binder that has the emergency folder and everything. So September, it will be available for 2 weeks towards the end of September, and then it'll be gone until another 6 months from there. So this is the Spark Life Binder. Watch for it at the end of September during the emergency folder challenge. I will share more about how to get the Spark Life Binder. I will also have the important papers workshop will be available during that emergency folder challenge in September too. So the important papers workshop you can sign up for free. And I walk you through what goes in an important papers binder like the Spark Life Binder, how you could build your own from scratch if you wanted to, how to keep it safe. And also the Spark Life Binder would be available. So that's the Spark Life Binder. It's a digital download. It helps you build your own binder. And this is for those most important pieces of information. It's not to keep every paper that you have, though. So this does not replace your filing cabinet. This works side by side with your filing cabinet. So this would keep either copies of or originals of some of the important documents, or you could write down the location of some of your originals. Some originals you want to keep in a fireproof and waterproof safe or a safe deposit box. You'd write down where they're stored in here and keep a copy of it. But not all of your papers would go in here. You're not going to keep all of your utility bills that have been paid or things like that in here. This is just for the important papers and information, all of the stuff that basically is the running of your life that you would need to know quickly and get your hands on quickly. Account numbers, all that information, anything that your loved ones and family would need to know if you weren't around to tell them, goes in here. Now your filing cabinet, though, that's a whole other beast, right? That's where you keep all the archives of, all of your taxes that are finished. So all the supporting documents for your taxes. You would keep your utility bills and retirement account statements and things like that. Things that you would not necessarily need to grab and go with if there was an emergency, and you would not need to access all the time. And those would just fill up something like the Spark Life Binder and make it very bulky. So that's where the paper path comes in. The paper path is an online course. So I walk you through one step at a time, building your entire paper system. So not just your binder. The last part of the paper path, we do talk about how you can build your own binder Basically, it's similar to what the important papers workshop is. So the last section talks about building one of these. The Spark Life Binder works hand in hand with the paper path. So if you don't want to build yours from scratch, if you want it already done, that's when you would grab the Spark Life Binder with your paper path if you wanted to. But the paper path is going to walk you through how to set up a system for all of your incoming papers, the action file. So you already probably have heard of the action file. Most of you probably have them set up. Let me know in the comments if you have an action file set up. But the action file is our first step in our paper system. And then the paper path walks you through, okay, well, how to sort the rest of your papers. Because first we want to make sure to take care of all of the incoming papers so they don't add to the problem. Then we want to sort any of the papers like we were talking about earlier with Cindy, piles of paper on the floor. How do you sort through all of those? We talk about the onion method. We talk about categorizing them, all of the different ways to make sorting your papers super, super easy, whether you have an entire storage unit full of papers to sort or just a few piles. So we go through that sorting. And then we go through and we talk about how to set up your file systems. We talk about short-term files, long-term files, and self-purging files. So those are the three types of systems that we're going to talk about setting up. And I walk you through exactly how to set them up. We do a personality test so you can find out what your paper personality is. And I tell you, for your long-term files, that would be in your file cabinet. For your personality type, this is how you can label every single one of your folders. And this is the order to put them in for your file cabinet. These are the things that would go in the file cabinet. For short-term files and self-purging files, I tell you how to set up those systems so your file cabinet does not get overwhelmed and so you can quickly and easily find the things that you need. And then finally, we wrap up with how to keep your most important papers and information safe. And then I do have some sections for special papers, things like tax papers. I walk you through how to go through doing your taxes the easy way. So I've got a tax planning worksheet, how to gather all the information, how to keep it organized throughout tax season, how to plan for it, how to handle the receipts and all that stuff. So there are some special paper sections within that. So that's the paper path. So that's a course that I walk you through, and the membership that goes with that course, we do work sessions. So every other weekend we have what's called a group hike. And I believe once a month we have an evening where there's a group hike, and that's 1 hour where we do little sprints, work sprints, 20 minutes each. And we sit there on Zoom and we work side by side with some music, and we get to have other people around us while we're working on our paper projects. And I do a special webinar just for Pathfinders, our paper path members, on one of the sections of the paper path, and we deep dive into that. And then there's a bunch of other things. There's challenges in their own Facebook group, and they get text message reminders and support and all sorts of stuff with the membership. So that's the difference. Spark Life Binder, your most important papers, not all of your papers, your most important papers and information where it's quick grab. And this is a digital version. You can type it in and save it digitally. You can print it out and keep the paper copy. You can do a combination of the two, which is what I do. I keep it digital and I print it out. So that way I've got both. But this is a Spark Life Binder, full binder, and emergency folder. And that's the digital download that keeps those all organized and gives you everything at your fingertips. Paper Path, handling how to organize all of the papers in your life, from incoming mail and papers all the way through to file cabinets and important papers binders. I hope that makes sense.